Johnson. This is a project I've been thinking about doing for a while now, which is to record an instructional video about the art of playing backup guitar behind Texas-style fiddle and mainly breakdowns, contest-style fiddling. I've seen a few books and videos out there that cover this subject, and the ones that I've seen I haven't been real thrilled with. There are a few that I haven't seen because they cost money, but I just thought I would give y'all my own take on this. I'm going to do a couple of lessons here for free, and this first one is just going to deal with kind of the basic technique aspects of accompanying fiddle players and playing this style of music. I've been very fortunate to have learned from some of the greats of Texas-style guitar players, my main teacher being Rex Gillentine. Also, I've learned a lot from Royce and Ray Franklin, Anthony Mature, Bobby Christman, all sorts of really fantastic guitar players. So I hope this can help you some. I think the first thing we'll start with is holding your guitar. Whenever you're playing with a fiddle player, you're going to want to hold your guitar like this in between the legs. You're probably not going to want to put it on one leg like this, just because it changes your ability to attack the strings and get the type of sound that you want. Also, if you're standing and playing, you want the guitar to be up a little bit more. You don't want to be down here like you see the rock band guys doing, because this once again ruins your attack on the strings, provides for bad tone, also makes it more difficult to do your chord work. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of how to hold the pick. I'm going to try and move in here where you can see a little bit closer. I hold my pick, I kind of make a fist, then place the pick here, and hold it with my thumb. If you do more of a flared finger thing like this, it once again changes the attack on the strings, doesn't allow you to get the good kind of boom chuck sound that we want when you're playing back up behind a fiddle player. The other thing I want to talk about is where you attack the strings on the guitar. You want to be back towards the back of the sound hole. You don't want to get up too far forward, and you don't want to get too far back. There's a great difference in tone, and you really have to find that sweet spot on your guitar where you're going to get the best tone, which is typically somewhere through here. You can hear the difference if I play here, if I play up here, or if I play way back here. So you want to find that kind of sweet spot where you're getting the best tone. Now, the other thing to remember, whenever you're playing with a fiddle player, you are the rhythm. There's typically not going to be a drummer. Oftentimes there isn't a bass. So your number one job is to keep the beat. It doesn't matter what type of fancy chord work you can do with your left hand. If your right hand doesn't have a good solid beat, a good sounding groove, you're just not going to give the fiddle player what they need to play their best. Fiddle player, their main concern is a good groove that they can get into, not how many fancy chords you can do up the neck. And to get that groove, we kind of go with what's called a boom chuck sound, which is like... And the way we're achieving this is we're dampening the strings towards the end of the chord. We're pressing the chord down fully, hitting the bass string, strumming, and then slightly lifting the hand to dampen the note. If you don't do this, you'll end up with, which just doesn't sound right. Or if you try and dampen too soon, you'll end up with, and you don't want that. You want to hear a good clean chord. You want to hear every note of the chord. You just don't want the chord to ring so much that you lose your groove. So that's kind of a basic thought on dampening the strings, but you have to kind of really practice this to get it right. So what I recommend is just finding a basic chord up the neck, and you're probably going to do something like an A6. We typically don't see in Texas style guitar playing the full bar chord, like barring an E position where you're going, just because you don't get the same fullness of tone out of that. It just doesn't match as well. So what I recommend is getting a metronome and just sitting there, one chord and whoops. So that you end up, when you're playing a progression, where you're getting a sound more like. Please ignore my mistake I made in there. I'm afraid I have some video editing software with this camera, but I'm not smart enough to figure out how to use it yet. Haven't put in the time yet, so any mistakes I make, I just kind of have to leave in there. I think that's kind of the fundamentals of just the basic technique. Once again, remember, the main thing is this right hand keeping the beat and getting a good groove. Doesn't matter how much you can do with the left hand. If you know every chord there is in every position, if this right hand isn't right, it's just not going to sound right, and you're not going to be getting the fiddle players to ask you to play with them. So I think that'll be all for this lesson, since it's my first attempt. I hope to do another lesson very soon, hopefully within the week, maybe even tonight if I get really motivated, and we're going to do just a kind of an intermediate level A progression up the neck. If you find this helpful, I am thinking about offering some Skype lessons, assuming I get a fast enough internet connection to do so. And you can contact me at jacobtxfiddler@gmail.com. That's JACOBTXFIDDLER@gmail.com. Anyway, hope this helps you.